Can Mona be a main DPS? Hey everyone, it's Oz, welcome. Today we're gonna test how well Mona fulfills her role as a main DPS. A bit of backstory. Before I first played Genshin Impact, and that was quite a while ago, I checked what characters are available in the game, what would be my goal. From the very limited at the time roster, 3 characters grabbed my attention. Amber, Noel, and above all, Mona. I was quite lucky because 2 of them were very easy to obtain, and that is, you can easily get them both on the first day of playing. But the one that I wanted the most was a 5-star, and I knew I wouldn't get her for a very long time. Now, cut to the patch 1.3 when I actually started playing the game. I was spending all my Primogems on standard banner, because hey, she's on the picture, it's definitely a good decision. At adventure rank 27 or 28, PT 77, first 5-star. And there it is, Skyward Blade. But the next day on PT just 11, I got Mona. That day she became my main DPS. I quickly noticed that compared to my other characters, like even Official, her damage was underwhelming. But I continued using her as my main DPS, and to this day she's part of my main team. And while my main DPS is now Yoimiya, I still use Mona's normal attacks in Overworld pretty often. Alright, story's over. So, what is Mona good for? First of all, she's very good at traversing various bodies of water, although she's been power crept by Ayaka who can't stop to regenerate stamina. But overall, I'd say that she can fulfill basically 2 roles. First role is Hydra applier in freeze teams with Ayaka or Ganyu, Diona, and animo grouper like Kazuha, Venti or Sucrose. Thanks to her pretty good AoE Hydra application, she can enable those teams to freeze the enemies so that they don't move and main DPS of the team can deal more damage. Nowadays she kind of fell off the role because of Kokomi who has better off-field Hydra application and is a healer, which makes it easy to use somebody like Shenhe, but Mona is still a great and cheap option. Second role is in damage per screenshot teams, so Bennett, Mona and Sucrose. This trio can output some amazing single instance damage, but isn't really that practical to use. But I'm more interested in her consistent damage. So, it's time to actually test her out. First we're gonna see how well she does in Overworld. I usually use her attacks when Official's Oz is active, but let's see how much damage she does alone, whether she can really be a main DPS. Well, clearly not. Okay, but really time for a bit. Before we do this, I'm gonna show you my build. It's not really the best, but it was the first character I really raised, and I had much better luck with Blizzard's Trayer when farming for Mona's Heart of Depth set, and I got tired of farming for her. So all artifacts apart from the goblet are what I used on her since basically AR45 when I farmed them. So, she's level 90, 1657 attack, 65 crit rate, 150 crit damage and 150 energy recharge. She's using a refinement to Solar Pearl, and although I do have refinement 5 with Sif, which would be much better on her, I'm using that because crit ratio and to boost her attacks a bit more. As I said before, she's using Heart of Depth. Generally for Mona I would recommend the Emblem of Severed Fate, but I geared her for main DPS and at that time Emblem didn't even exist yet. She's my highest Constellation 5-star character because Constellation 3, apart from that I only have C1, Diluc and Kuchin. I think her more impactful constellations are Constellation 1, 3 and 4, but I'm more interested in Constellation 2, which makes some of her normal attacks do an additional charged attack. And sometimes when you do charged attack after a normal attack that triggered her C2, it does 2 charged attacks after each other and it's very satisfying. Alright, if it comes to her talents, she's triple crowned. So overall, I'd say she's pretty well raised, but the artifacts could use some upgrade. Time for her comp. The team that I always thought would be good for main DPS Mona is Mona, Xiangling, Bennett and Sucrose, and I have Kazuha. So generally Xiangling and Child or Ayato team just with Mona instead. I'm 100% sure most damage will come from Xiangling, but hey, Mona will still be on field. Benny will be there for healing and buff of course, and Sucrose will be there for some grouping, spheres and buffs. On second half I will use my usual Yoimiya team, so Yoimiya, Official, Jungle and Xingqiu. Alright, I'm just gonna go with floors 11 and 12. The first half I'll be doing my Mona team, and on the second half I'll go with Yoimiya. Alright, we've got ourselves a ley line monolith. Not a fan of those, but Sucrose will probably carry us here. Throw all CCs immediately, Benny buff, and time for Mona. Remember to use Shangling's burst before Benny runs out. And I saw some 93k there. Pretty good for a start. Already half of the floor dead. Mona deletes those Hillchers with 38k charged attack. Honestly, I've never seen her do that much damage, so I'm quite happy. Alright, time to waste all my cooldowns on that poor Mitachurl. And I can't do anything to him because of the shield. Ooh, 56k charge attack. See, she does some damage. Okay, and just the Lawachurl left. I don't really want to use my cooldowns on him because there's no timer, and he's focusing on me, so I just play around him for a bit. Okay, second half. Same thing just with treasure hoarders. I forgot to exchange his E, but whatever. Jungle's burst is pretty useful here. I just saw it deal 42k damage despite him being built as shield bot, and well, it petrifies the enemies, so I quite like using him on the monolith chambers. And after that we set a pause and do the usual pew pew with Yoimiya, quickly killing treasure hoarders one by one. Another meteor. Set up again with Xingqiu and Fischl. And back to our scheduled Yoimiya's normal attacks. Leyline Monolith bravely protected the Nobushi from my attacks. And we're doing another meteor and usual setup. And we quickly kill the Kairagi, leaving the Monolith with 80% health. Chamber 2. We have some Iced Shield Mitachurls, and I'm a bit confused because I was sure that was 12-2. But no matter. I gotta wait a bit till they finish their little dance. Benny's Q, Sucrose Q and E for stunts and beautiful shield breaking, and after Shangling's burst we can't really do Mona's Q because it'd be a big waste. Okay, we got Cryo Mage and Lawachurls. For some reason I'm attacking Cryo Shield with Mona, but I finally do something useful, switch to Benny and Shangling and break the shield. Dodge the Ice Trap with Sucrose, and I can finally set up my burst, completely forgetting about our poor main DPS Mona. After a bit of beating, the Lawachurl dies. On the second half we've got some Fatui, and honestly I feel like each Abyss rotation has like 4 or 5 chambers that have a Fatui group. Not that I'm complaining, because they're quite easy, but it just feels like floor 9, 10 and 11 have some of those. I gotta do the setup, Jungle's burst to petrify and focus on the Hydro Gunner. Always focus on the Hydro Gunner first, because he heals the others. Res dies insanely quickly, and we have Mirror Maiden left. We do the usual, but she teleports away. Still, after getting to her and activating Yoimiya's E, she dies in one normal attack combo from a 61k normal attack. Alright, we've got 11-3, some small Rift Hounds. Unfortunately, Sucrose's burst isn't ready, so we set up Benny, Shangling, then Sucrose E and burst, and at this point they've taken so much damage that it'd be a waste to use Mona's burst again. So like usual, we do some E and a couple attacks. Now we've got some big doggos, but I've run out of all my bursts, so I have to take some time to get energy. Okay, everything's ready, so Sucrose Q, Benny Q, Shangling Q, and we can finally do some Mona, and it didn't really seem to do anything substantial. I saw some 69k damage there, which I assume is from her burst, but it seems to be very low. Okay, the burst was very disappointing, but now the combination of Shangling's Q and Mona's charged attacks did some decent damage to both dogs. We've got an Electro Lawachurl. That is a bit underwhelming. Alright, Xingqiu E, Q and E, Fischl E, and reposition because Lawachurl jumped, and we can go to the good old beating from Yoimiya. The Lawachurl dies after 2 attack combos from Yoi, and some Bismal Bishops spawns, one of which nearly died from the third Yoimiya combo. Gotta set up again. First Bishop died from Oz, and the other dies in a couple attacks. Finally, time to test out Mona in floor 12. Oh, so there are those Cryo Mitachurls in Lawachurl. I didn't go crazy earlier there. This chamber 12-2 is also the reason why I'm testing out this team, because I usually use freeze team on my Abyss clears, and here it wouldn't work, and I thought Shangling would be useful here. So again, first half Mona team and second half Yoimiya, who works really well against the bosses. Okay, chamber 1. Starting off immediately with Bandit Burst and Sucrose Burst, and need to sack and stun the Whopper Flowers. Xiangling's Burst, and again I don't do Mona's Burst because it felt like a waste. I really should have used someone else. Okay, first wave is dead, 3 more Whopper Flowers. Don't have cooldowns ready, so again Sucrose CC. Some Xiangling, and this time I actually use Mona Burst, which I saw did 100k damage to one of the Whopper Flowers. We gotta dispose of the leftovers, and we've got 2 GI Bishops to kill. Again, Benny Burst, do some Sucrose for stun and VV buff, Xiangling Pyronado, Sucrose Q for even more CC, and we can do Mona's Burst, which does measly 63k to one of the GOV shots.
3 hours later.
I use Benny Burst to heal a bit, and because I have a lot of time left, I wait with killing the bishops so I can generate some energy for next chamber. And as we can see right after that, it was a great decision because I nearly killed my Sucrose. Still, I killed the bishops using my skills so I can actually get some energy and get Benny's Burst ready. On the second half we've got our favorite, Mr. Cyclops. Usual setup of Xingqiu, E, Q, E, Fischl E, and Yoimiya E and normal attacks. Mr. Cyclops depart from this world after only 6 normal attacks, and we're getting a big Mr. Cyclops, who freezes at the sight of Yoimiya, and then loses half of his health from the remaining infused attacks. I do my usuals, Zhongli's Shield, Xingqiu Burst and New Oz, generate some energy with our water dispenser, and finish off big Mr. Cyclops. Alright, new chamber. We have to be careful when to go with Sucrose, so I do Benny Burst, Xiangling Q, and when all the mobs are displaced, I go in with Sucrose and throw in my Burst, skill to stun the enemies and dispose of the Cryo Shields. Yet again, the enemies take so much damage that using Mona's Burst would be a waste, so I save it for later. Now we get a Lawachol and Cryo Slime with some weird aura, so I try to kill it quickly, but I use Mona's attacks on Cryo Shield again! After breaking the slime shield, I do Benny's Q and avoid damage from Lawachol beautifully with my Mona's Burst. Seeing that I have a lot of time, I decide to save energy again and immediately take a lot of damage with Mona. It was a great decision because I nearly killed my Sucrose. So I use Benny's Burst, place a couple of skills and finish the Lawachol off. Okay, time for Magukenki. First we have to wait a couple seconds so he can wake up after a long night. I usually use my shield after about 7 seconds pass since the start of the encounter. Unfortunately my Sack Sword doesn't proc, and it really throws me off because I'm not sure if I'll be able to get my burst back in time. When Magukenki is transitioning to second phase, I'm beating him with Xingqiu's attacks, hoping for some energy from wherever. Now Yoimiya Burst, Oz, and Xingqiu's Burst still not ready, so I have to do a couple normal attacks to get it back, and this time I finally get my E back from my Sack Sword. So I do my usual thing, but I forgot that Oz was just going to run out, so I missed out on some really nice damage there. However, I still managed to kill Magukenki with Yoimiya's normal attacks. Time for the last chamber, and we're getting 2 Bismarck Bishop hatchlings. Is this some out of season April Fool's joke? Do Benny Burst, Xiangling Burst, and look at that, we can still do Mona's Burst. So we do just that, and it didn't really do that much. I saw some 96k damage, but on the second bishop it didn't crit and felt kinda disappointing again. Only 1 bishop left with a bit of HP, and we finish it off with God of Stove and Mona's hologram. Alright, second half of the last chamber. We got Physical Hypostasis. I used to kill it a lot in Abyss to test out the best 4th teammate for Hu Tao and do some Yoimiya speedruns, so maybe about 100 runs, so it should go pretty smooth. We're beating it quickly with my favorite Overvape team, and I do a bit of a blunder because I estimated its health badly, so I beat it with uninfused normal attacks without any off-field damage. And then do the setup just before the boss goes to the second phase, so we had definitely lost a bit of time there. Fortunately my cooldowns just finished when the ads spawned, so I can easily set up, quickly kill the jellyfish, and go back to beating perpetual mechanical array. I didn't do enough damage to finish it within the rotation, and because of my previous mistakes Oz wasn't ready, but I still managed to kill it after a couple seconds. And so, we finished our Abyss with 36 stars, and Mona as a main DPS on one of our teams. I'm not gonna lie, the execution on my part was pretty bad. I've never used this team, so I'm not used to the rotation, and as you saw, sometimes other team members dealt so much damage I couldn't really do much with Mona. But it worked, she was our main DPS. So, is Mona a good main DPS? No, not really. But, can she be a main DPS? Yeah, sure, just as you saw. I managed to make a team where she worked as an on-field attacker. I won't lie though, this current Abyss was very easy. It was the easiest rotation we got in a very long time, and that might be why everything worked. I got times much better than I usually do with a team that I never really used, despite making so many mistakes. But what's important is that we did win with main DPS Mona. I'm glad that it worked, because I wanted to make her a main DPS since I got her in an early game. And who knows, maybe, if you really like some very niche character, you can find a team where said character works as an attacker. Alright, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate a like, and well, have a great day. See ya everyone.